her book is called Real Food, Less Fuss. There she is on the book. She's on the couch with us right now as well, because we're going to be talking about cravings right now. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. She's a well-being specialist. She is Lauren Parsons. Good to have you back on the program.
Hi, Dylan. Nice to be here.
Cravings. Okay, now most people know what a craving is, but can you explain the proper health term maybe of what a craving is?
Well, I don't know if there's a proper definition as such,
Yeah.
but for me, cravings, when I think of that, I've got lots of clients that tell me, they deal with, I guess, an uncontrollable urge to eat something that perhaps they hadn't planned to eat or to overeat. And so that's really where I help people with those sort of challenges that come up for a lot of people on a regular or a cyclical basis.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're making it sound like cravings for the most part are bad.
Well, I guess for a lot of my clients, they are struggling with them because they have an intention of what they would like to eat, but then they find that they're giving into cravings for unhealthy foods or foods that they don't intend to eat or just overeating. And the challenge is that food can be kind of an addiction for us. But
of course.
Unlike some of the other addictions like smoking or gambling, we actually can't live without it. So we need to be able to find a way to have a really positive, relaxed relationship with food.
So what's the difference then between a craving and a need? Because, I mean, sometimes you're just craving hunger, you're hungry.
Yeah, well, and I think a lot of people have lost touch with actually when they are hungry. It's a really good thing to try and get back in touch with your hunger and satiety cycles, because often it's hard to know, do I need this? Am I craving this? What's the reason behind this? Often we crave foods for emotional reasons rather than actually having a physical need.
Okay, so other than emotional reasons, I mean, why do we crave?
Well, often people get triggered. So often, someone might be feeling down, they might be feeling stressed or bored or lonely or tired. And so they may have perhaps in the past found that if they go to food, it gives them some comfort. But it's only a really short-term measure. It's not actually a viable solution. So the thing that I often recommend people really remember is that it's totally valid to meet your emotional need, but you just don't actually need food to do that. So if you could find some other strategies to actually help you to feel not so bored, not so lonely, not so tired, that don't need to involve food, then you can actually sail through the craving.
Okay, so how do we find those other things, those other avenues?
Yeah, well, it's about understanding what your most common triggers are. So for most people, it's either they're bored, lonely, angry or anxious, stressed or tired. And to think in in advance of time of what are some if and then strategies. So if I get bored, well, I'll go in every room in my house and do some jumping jacks. Or if I get lonely, well, I'm going to phone up a friend. Or if I get tired, I'm just going to take a nap. If I get stressed, I'm going to go for a run or a brisk walk outdoors or just stretch my legs. So what are some other strategies, different things we can do that really will help us to feel better?
Not always easy to do though, right? Because I guess, you're in the workplace, you're sitting at your desk and you just get this craving to just eat all the junk around you and you can't really go do jumping jacks. You might look a little bit odd. Yeah,
well, it's obviously got to be appropriate for what's going on around you. Yeah, exactly. But I like to use the analogy that I heard a few years ago when we think about our relationship with food and how our brain works. If you think of the analogy of an elephant and a rider, there's the rider, which is like our prefrontal cortex, that logical part of our brain that knows what we intend to eat. I'm going to have the salad for lunch, I'm going to have the apple for afternoon tea. But then underneath that, there is this great big powerful beast that is our emotions that can just take us off track. So it's actually teaching your elephant, the emotional part of your brain and how your emotions work, to go where you want them to go. And that's sometimes around reprogramming your thoughts and also just smoothing the path, making it easy. So putting the healthier options available, putting them in the clear containers and the foods you perhaps want to eat less of in the opaque containers, putting your fruit bowl at the front of the bench, things like that.
So you're saying too many peanuts are bad for you? Because that's where the elephant would go, right? Peanuts?
Well,
no?
yeah. Well, they say too much of anything is not such a good thing.
Are there certain foods that you can eat to help you avoid cravings?
Yeah, well,
like
the
good
key...
foods?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say a specific single food, but the key thing is to opt for more real foods, more whole foods, more foods that look like they come out of the ground, off the tree, that are full of fibre and vitamins and phytochemicals, as opposed to more processed foods, which are going to very quickly turn into glucose in the body and then give us that blood sugar spike. Insulin will kick in after that, and we'll then have another craving come on very quickly. So just minimising processed foods, getting organised, planning ahead, and eating lots of whole real foods.
Okay, and one thing that I'm finding interesting as well. You mentioned to me that sunlight actually plays a role in cravings.
Yeah, really interesting. So when we get up in the morning, if you can get sunlight into the retina of your eyes as early as possible, and maybe for a few minutes, that will help to curb the melatonin and boost your serotonin levels. And those are two hormones that are always in a seesaw relationship. So when we drop the melatonin, which is our sleepy, get to sleep hormone, and we boost serotonin, which is our feel-good hormone, it helps us to feel better throughout the day. And as humans, we innately know that if we're low in serotonin, if we feel like we just need a little something else, that if we eat carbohydrate-rich food, that it will boost serotonin. So if you get that craving kind of mid-afternoon, especially for something sweet or something carbohydrate-based, you could trace it back to actually getting up in the morning, getting sunlight into your eyes, throwing the curtains open, or getting outdoors ideally, if you can. Perhaps you've got young children at home, it might just be eating somewhere in the sunlight. And then that's going to boost that serotonin level. It will drop off during the day, but it won't be quite so low. So it'll help to curb those cravings.
I imagine we're craving a little more in the winter months then, because we don't get too much sunshine.
Yes, so it's nice heading into summer.
Some resources, best way people can get in contact with you to find out more about this topic?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they can either look into the resource, the book Real Food Less Fuss, which is at realfoodlessfuss.com.
Check it out. I have that book.
Yes,
right
exactly.
Here. Very cool.
So everything they cover around the psychology of eating, how to have a relaxed attitude to food, or they can connect with me if they want to connect one-on-one. I also offer personal coaching sessions to really overcome some of the mindset hurdles, and I do that online, so it's anywhere in the world available. Yeah.
Amazing, to help us curb those cravings, because it's important to feel healthy, look healthy. Thank you very much, as always, Lauren Parsons, for being here.
Great, thank you.
There's the book, Real Food, Less Fuss. We've got more daytime coming up in moments on Rogers TV.